Hey, what's going on? It's True Talk Tuesdays, number 27. And today's topic is when hazing goes wrong. Now, if you follow me on social media, you might have seen a couple days ago I posted a video on Instagram about essentially, there will be a link to the video on this post, but pretty much a dude, two wrestlers, one guy with two water bottles essentially smashing his buddy's ear to what appears to give him cauliflower. Now, you might be wondering, why would someone do something so ridiculous? And I suspect it's because, and I had a bunch of people commenting, and of course, this was in Russia, you know, so it was on a wrestling channel as well. So I suspect it was like a rite of passage, like this guy had a couple medals around his neck, so maybe he won something, and they wanted to haze him and give him cauliflower ears so he could be like a real wrestler, like a real man. To me, this is ridiculous. All right. Now, hazing is very common in sports, combat sports, no exception. Uh, Pretty much, when you hear hazing, usually in America, we think of like Western society, like fraternities and people doing crazy shenanigans. But really, hazing is any form of like a physical or mental stress that's imposed on somebody to make them part of a group, right? Uh, and there's nothing really wrong with that, but there's a line, a quote that I've made up here is there's a fine line between toughness and stupidity. And it's very apparent when you cross it, right? Like if you think in jiu-jitsu terms, if I'm in a caught in an armbar, like and then like I got myself out of it without getting hurt, like oh man, he's tough. But that same moment, I get my arm popped. Now he's stupid, right? So in this case, I think when the guy was smashing his ear, he clearly crossed the line already of being stupid, right? Because I don't see the benefit of doing that to somebody. Because getting cauliflower ear does not make you tougher in any shape, way, or form. Like in fact, in my opinion, it's making you weaker. Now you're getting your ear all crunched up. It's going to be more likely to get injured in the future now because it's sticking out. It's all sore. Not to mention if it's like curled up like this, which I've seen in some people, where they now have a slit instead of an ear, your hearing's going to be impaired. And you could also forget about ever using the headphones again, So there's not a real, there's no real benefit to having a cauliflower ear. And to top it off, by having someone smash your ear with a water bottle, you're not really like doing anything exceptional. It's just standing there and taking it, I suppose. But to me, that's nothing to be proud of, right? So I think there's something you might wonder where is hazing or this rite of passage useful? Well, for example, in my school, the Freestyle Fighting Academy, we do a rite of passage when somebody gets promoted, and pretty much we're an MMA school. So when someone is getting ready for the next rank, we'll put them through a gauntlet. After we do our testing, we'll then have all the students that are getting promoted go through a gauntlet where they're fighting 1 minute rounds with new partners every minute, and depending on the rank they're at, and like I think of their blue belt, it starts at 5 minutes, and they're going all the way up to black. It's like 10 minutes of just new partners going back to back, and it doesn't sound like a long time, but when you're doing MMA with fresh people all the time, it's just brutal. It's like the worst shark bait you can ever play, and people usually become like Walking Dead just within a few rounds. They get tired, but we're not there like breaking ribs and like cutting them open, where most usually people are carrying them through once they start getting broken down and everybody's rooting for them, trying to get them to go. But after the gauntlet's over, nobody, you got some bruises and bumps for sure, but nothing permanent, nothing debilitating. And at the end of it, it's a real, you know, people are proud of being able to survive the experience and come out on top. And when they get that belt and we give them a new shirt and all that, and they're recognized in front of all their peers, it's a real sense of accomplishment. And it's practical because we are practicing fighting, so being able to fight against multiple people fresh is a skill that you would want to have. So to me, that's a positive experience. Nobody comes out injured, and they come out tougher for it, and they get accepted into that community because everybody's proud of being able to survive that, and they bond together. And that's ultimately the goal of any type of ritual, or rite of passage or hazing, if you will, is that you prove your toughness and then you're accepted into this group. There's like a brotherhood that's created. But like I said, there's a line that you cross, when you start permanently disfiguring somebody, like branding them or, forcing them to get tattoos and stuff like that. To me, that's crossing a line. Now, granted, some people like doing that type of stuff, okay, but I don't think it's something that, is going to prove how tough you are. And in jiu-jitsu, they do a lot of this, like what I've always seen is the belt whipping, where there's like two lines and someone walks to that line and everybody's like whipping them in the back. And, if you've never seen it before, that might sound like brutal, but it's really lighthearted when you see it and everybody's laughing, including the person getting whipped, and they're having a good old time, That I'm not too big of a fan of, although I don't see it as like, dangerous or anything like that. I just don't see how it applies, towards the skill of being a better jiu-jitsu athlete. But, way better than, the video that I've linked here, getting your ear smashed in for no reason. And I had a lot of people also commenting saying like, oh, that's cheating. You have to earn it the right way. And like, that makes me backpedal a little bit. I'm like, wait. There's no reason you ever should want to have cauliflower ear to begin with. It's not a badge of honor, all right? It's an injury, I mean, it's not something like you should be afraid of, but at the same time, it's not something you should be welcoming either, It's like getting a cut, like a giant cut over your forehead. You shouldn't want that. If you get it, then you treat it, and you go to the doctor, get it stitched up and clean, and ideally you minimize the amount of scar tissue so it doesn't become a weak point again. But some people think like, oh, it's cool to get it when you're actually fighting or whatnot. It isn't, right? It's a weakness. You're gonna have if you got a big clump of a ear like this, it's gonna be more likely to get messed up again. So it's not something cool to have either, in any way, shape, or form, however you get it. And especially cauliflower ear, it's really easy to prevent. I'm fortunate. I only wear headgear when I was in wrestling because in high school they force you to, and then afterwards I just trained without it. I just got good genetics. I can bump my ears and I shoot all the time. Never had an issue with cauliflower ear. But some people, you just flick their ear and they just flare up right away. So if you're that type of person, you should just always be wearing wrestling headgear. It's like $20. You're not going to get cauliflower ear if you're wearing a headgear. I always guarantee it, right? Now, if you're a professional fighter, it's probably going to be a little bit unavoidable as far as acquiring that initial injury, because if you can't wear headgear when you're fighting and you get punched in the ear, it's a good chance that you might get it. But it's easily treated. Syringe, you withdraw the pus, then compress it, make sure it doesn't flare up again. After a few days, you should be good again. And, in worst case scenarios, doctors can cut it, drain it, even do plastic surgery and all that if it gets that far off. But usually it wouldn't be that far off unless you allowed it to or you just neglected it. But then again, I see a lot of people in the jiu-jitsu world, cauliflowers all over the place. And these are not like pro fighters or anything. These are just regular dudes that train, So that whole like tough guy mentality, like, oh, I'm tough because I have a cauliflower ear. No, you're being silly, man. Like just get that thing taken care of, dude. It's like if I would be like purposely like cutting myself, or if I would get like cuts from punches and not getting them stitched up and just letting them bleed out and get big, scar tissue. It's like, that's not cool. It's just being silly, man. Just get it fixed, So, long story short here, there is a right way of having a rite of passage or quote unquote hazing someone, if you will. And to me, the goal of such a thing would be to challenge someone physically and mentally so that they become a better person for it, and they also will have a sense of accomplishment and bond with the group. And in such a thing, nobody should be getting permanently disfigured or traumatized or anything like that. Yeah, it'll be hard and it'll be challenging just like anything else, but not anything that's going to have negative lifelong implications, And if you're not sure about something that you're doing and you see somebody's uploading a video to YouTube, chances are you're not doing something smart. You've crossed over the line to stupidity. So make sure you're not doing anything silly like that, And if you're a coach, maybe look back at those things that you're having your athletes or your students do and make sure you're not doing anything silly either. You don't want to, as a coach, that's the last thing I want to do is like hurt somebody or make someone feel bad or force someone. Like in this particular video, it looked like the guy was kind of like peer pressured into it. I'm not 100% sure, but just from how he appeared in the body language, it didn't look like he wanted this to happen. So I wouldn't want to impose anything like that on anybody. So just something to consider. Like I said, if anything you take away from this, you got a thin line between toughness and stupidity. And stupidity would be getting injured for no good reason, right? Especially in a training environment. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. Do you think any form of hazing is bad, or like I was saying, like there's in moderation, it can be a positive experience for that person. I would be interested to hear also if you guys have certain rituals that you do at your gym or at your club that maybe I haven't heard of. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. That way you'll be alerted when the next video drops. Now, if you want to get more videos like this on a daily basis, go and visit my membership site at ffacoach.com. We have online video curriculums, our daily videos, and you can get bonus courses like the Kimura Trap system for free when you enroll today. So go ahead and help support the channel and visit today.